confided in a close friend that I thought I was gay or perhaps bisexual because I couldn't shake off this feeling I had for other girls. To my surprise and relief, she took it with an open mind. She even joked about she wouldn't have to worry about me stealing her boyfriends. But I knew who I fancied. There was this girl I grew up with on my street, a cool art student, a couple years older than me. When I found out she was a lesbian, I set myself on a mission to get to know her again, to get to know someone like me. One night, a friend and I got tipsy. We were stumbling home when we thought it would be fun to write on her doorstep. It read something like, Miranda wants to meet you, which in those days meant I'd like to get intimate with you. The next night at the club, she came straight up to me, looked me straight in the eyes and said, "Did you write on my doorstep?" I nodded. She said she'd been woken up by her mum cursing, trying to scrub the step clean. I laughed at the image in my head. And before I knew it, our lips were locked. We kissed. It was a soft, beautiful kiss. I felt like there was fireworks blowing up all around us. It was my first proper kiss with a girl, and it felt so right. I'd never felt like this with a boy. Ever. When our lips parted and I finally came back down to earth, we found a private place to sit for the evening. We spent our time talking and laughing. It was wonderful. I felt like I was high as a kite. We exchanged numbers, and that was my start of my first lesbian relationship. Not so long after, my mum caught my girlfriend and I cuddling in my room. She promptly threw a glass towards me, and it shattered against the wall behind us. This really upset me. I moved to London not long after, and the distance broke our relationship. But London was a culture shock. I discovered gay bars and friendly gay pubs that were near me. One day my Corby mate came over with this girl, Ali, from school. She was Miss Popular, a piss taker, a hard nut who'd I'd been afraid of. But that was all a front. She was a dyke too. We clearly fancied each other, and soon enough I moved back to Corby to be with her. My mum, on the other hand, had different ideas. She'd convinced herself and me that I wasn't well, and before I knew it, I was on a plane to South America. Missing Ali was heartbreaking for me. I was hurting. I didn't know what to do. All I wanted to do was to go back to Corby to be with her. That's when my mum finally realised that these emotions I was feeling were real. Up until then, she just hoped it was a phase. One day, she came up to me, gave me a hug. She'd admitted that she was in love with a woman in her teenage years, but living that life wasn't right or wasn't accepted in their culture. She also wanted children and a family. This was good to hear. She even told me about an uncle of mine. He was gay, but he sadly died of AIDS in the 80s. I began to understand why she was struggling with the idea of me being gay. It was great to talk about our feelings. We both got upset, but she told me, no matter what, I'm going to be always her daughter and she will always love me. And she just wanted me to be happy. I felt like the world's weight was lifted off my shoulders, knowing she's going to have my back and she will always stand with me. Now, I live my life openly as a lesbian, knowing she's always going to be by my side.